Chester, Virginia, but she currently resides in her favorite place, downtown Richmond. She spent her time here at VCU as a 4-year member of the Student Admissions Ambassadors, including serving as the president of the organization, and she is a 3-year member of VCU Cheer. In her BIS coursework, she is focused on psychology and forensic science. After graduating from VCU, Jordan wants to continue her education in forensic psychology and then attend PA school, become a licensed physician's assistant. In her free time, Jordan likes to watch movies and catch up on her favorite shows. She takes pride in coaching her cheer team, in spending time with her family and friends, and in striving to be a role model for those around her. Please join me in welcoming Jordan Bradford.
Thank you, Dr. Bauer, for that introduction. Let's go ahead and hop right into the speech. So, 167,011,200 seconds, 2,738,520 minutes, 46,392 hours, 1,933 days, or simply put, 5 years, 3 months, and about 13 to 15 days if you include the leap years. That's how long it's been since I've waited for this moment. Thank God we are finally here. Good evening, faculty, staff, family members, friends, and most importantly, BIS graduates. Welcome to commencement. Every single minute, second, hour, day, week, month, and year has led to this moment for us. A moment that to me seemed unreachable at times. A moment that I wanted to come sooner rather than later. A moment that I learned took way more patience with time than I could have ever imagined. Like seriously, I was this close, and I mean this close, to saying, you know what, why do I need a degree? I don't need it. I don't need it. I quit, I give up. But I didn't. I kept going, and it got me to this moment. So, for some of us, it has seemed as if this journey just started a day ago. Some of us may even be wishing that we had a little more time. And some of us are really ready to run out of this auditorium right now. But the time has come to an end for us, and what a time it has been. So with that, this evening I want to talk to you about time. I don't know how many of you realize that our entire world revolves around time. If you're like me, you're not too fond of it. Like, who even invented the whole concept of time, and why would they ever want to do that? I just feel like, 1, it's always, and I mean always working against me. 2, there's never enough of it. 24 hours just is not enough time in a day to do all the stuff that we need to do. And 3, daylight savings is just completely backwards, because how does it go from being dark at 9 to dark at 6, but we only lost 1 hour? The system is flawed. There's something wrong with the system. But, long story short, time just throws me off. Sometimes I miss my alarm, and then I'm late, and then I'm stressed, and I even rushed getting here today, but I was on time. So, and I just really don't like time. So let's just leave it there for now. I say this all to say, I think at times we don't realize how big of an impact time has on our lives, whether good or bad, when really it's running the whole show. There are some things I had to learn about time throughout my 24 years of life, but I feel like I learned most of those lessons during my experience here at VCU. And it is my hope that me sharing these things with you will truly change your perspective about time. For starters, I've always been a person who likes to have a plan and to be in control of the things I'm doing in my life. Or I used to be that way anyways. I used to like to have a direct path of every single step I would take to get to where I wanted to be. My first day at VCU some 5 years ago, I was a happy little freshman with that ideal do it in 4 plan that they drive into your head in high school every single time you have a guidance appointment. Do it in 4. Yes, that's very nice. But some of us have to do it in 5. Okay, it's okay. I always thought I'd graduate in 4 years, apply and attend medical school, become a pediatrician, get married, have a cute little family with a dog or 2, and live happily ever after. But life had a different plan for me, much different. What I didn't know those 5 years ago was that all those plans that I had would be flipped upside down, ripped apart, pieced back together, and ripped apart again until I stopped trying to be so in control of time. Lesson number 1, You can't plan for time, it plans for you. I started my journey through higher education as a pre-engineering major in VCU School of Engineering. I thought it was what I wanted. I thought it would make myself and everyone else happy. But no, no happiness. Only tears. Lots of tears. And lots of phone calls home telling my parents I had made a huge mistake. That's when I first realized my plan needed some revision. It was stressful. Here I was thinking I had this plan, and then boom, scratch, time to start over. So I went into my sophomore year undeclared, and I realized that there were so many majors, why couldn't I just choose for all the ones that I liked? But that was never offered to me as an option. So I researched, consulted friends, family, advisors, and I wrote out my new plan. It felt good. I felt like it was a win. I knew for sure that my do it in 4 plan was still in full effect, but wrong. It was so hard trying to get into programs. It was like starting over again as a freshman. It took until my spring semester of that school year to get into the program that I wanted. I was happy to finally be declared again and naively believed that things were still going according to plan. So what could possibly go wrong? Everything. As I continued on through my new plan, it seemed fun at first, and then uneasiness set in. I was starting to feel unhappy with my choices and thoughts about my future careers, but I felt like I had to keep going. I had to stick to this plan, but it just wasn't for me. Excuse me. It really wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to study something else, but after all the stress with the first major change, I opted to keep pushing. But then at some point, it all felt like a blur. I wasn't interested in the things I was learning. I wasn't having fun outside of classes. It almost felt as if I was doing college just to say I was doing college. At times, it felt as if I was trying to rush my way to the finish line because I felt like I was falling behind from having to change my plans. I began to see my friends going ahead of me, making memories that I couldn't make, and I wanted to be there too. I wanted to have everything figured out, but every time I tried, it seemed as if something was always saying, slow down, it will come to you soon. And I always heard so many excuses like, no, you have to take this one class and then we'll talk about graduation. Or my favorite, it looks like that class is full, you'll have to wait till the next semester. How many times do we have to hear that? At the time, these were things that all seemed like setbacks to me. But in hindsight, time was just getting comfortable squeezing its way in, telling me to slow down because what I wanted would come to me soon. Lesson number 2, make room for time or it will squeeze its way in for you. It seems as if what I wanted at this point was a wrinkle in time to occur. A wrinkle in time, as described by Mrs. Whatsit in the book, A Wrinkle in Time. In order for the ant to get from point A to point B, it will be a long journey. But if I simply cause this wrinkle in my skirt, the ant can get from point A to point B quicker than he will ever know. A wrinkle in time, the bending of time. That's what I wanted when things started to go wrong. I wanted time to bend for me. I wanted the quickest route to get to where I wanted to be. But what I had to realize was that the long journey I was taking was specifically designed for me. Not a wrinkle, not a fast way to keep up with everyone else's time, but to stay on my own. You see, the thing about time is that we all have the same amount of it, but the way we go through it is different. Our time is relative, meaning that the rate of change of time is not the same for every frame of reference. 2 people can be sitting in 2 other frames of reference, can measure the same time or different. One's clock can tick faster than others. It took me a while to realize.
You got it, sis. Come on. You're doing great.
It took me a while to realize that I had to stop comparing my time and my journey to everyone else's.
You got it, baby.
It took me a while to realize that I had to stop comparing my time and my journey to everyone else's. Because whether I believed it or not, our clocks would never tick the same. And the sad part is that while I was doing that, I was missing out on celebrating all the small wins, the many victories, the things that were stepping stones to this very moment. I wasn't cherishing those things, all the classes I learned from, memories I made, stuff I often came home excited to talk about, all important to this journey. I needed to celebrate those exact moments where they were instead of stressing about what was to come or what hadn't happened yet. Lesson number 3, cherish the time while you have it. In the words of one of my favorite artists, Dewan, girl, stop wasting time thinking about what happened, worried about the future, live in the moment, it will all be fine.
That's right, baby.
We will never have a chance to redo these days of our lives. There is no rewind or redo button. You have to live for now. So once I started to realize that I needed to just be happy and take everything one day at a time, things moved out for me. I remember being asked the infamous question, so, when do you graduate? A part of me used to be infuriated by the question, but after a while, the easiest response was to just smile, shrug, and say soon. I was trying not to look too far ahead anymore, but in the back of my mind, the ultimate goal still seemed so far away. But then one day, I had a moment. Fall 2017, I remember I had somewhat of an explosive advising session with my department advisor at the time. It felt as if every time I was in her office, there was some extra class getting added on or extra semester, just extra things that I didn't want to do, extra things that I wasn't interested in. I left her office that day beyond discouraged. I called my mom, bawling my eyes out on the phone. It was dramatic. I remember it was dramatic. Sorry, Mom. I called her saying, I'm never going to graduate. I hate this major. I don't know what I'm doing. Will I ever graduate? I just don't know what's going to happen. I felt like I was back to square one, all in my senior year. A few weeks later, I was in the same auditorium to see my best friend, Micaiah Presley, graduate from this very program. I remember seeing everyone's different focus areas and hearing the graduation speeches and thinking, wow, hello, is this some type of VCU hidden treasure? Like, why didn't anyone ever tell us about this? And so, I wanted to be in this department. I weighed my options a lot. I thought, if this program will take me another 3 years, then so be it, because that's what I wanted, and I decided to go after it. It wasn't long before I reached out to Dr. Zach Hilbert, my BIS superhero, as I like to call him. I don't know if he knows, but meeting that day with him shifted me into a gear that he will probably never understand. Truly a moment of impact. When I walked into Zach's office that day, I had released all control. I went in with a clear head, ready to ask questions and eager to hear more about this program. Zach showed interest in my future, my plans, my wants, and anything that I was interested in more than any advisor had ever done. He showed me my options, he asked what I wanted, and he gave me ideas. I walked out of his office that day feeling so happy and full, and instantly I knew that the BIS program was how I wanted to finish out my time here at VCU. That meeting changed me. That one moment of impact got me to this very moment. Lesson number 4, everything happens for a reason, when it's supposed to, whether you want it to or not. Here's a theory about moments from one of my favorite movies, The Vow, and it reads, my theory is about moments of impact. My theory is that these moments of impact, these flashes of high intensity that completely turn our lives upside down, actually end up defining who we are. The thing is, each one of us is the sum total of every moment that we've ever experienced with all the people we've ever known. And it's these moments that become our history, like our own personal greatest hits of memories that we play and replay in our minds over and over again. All of these moments made me who I am, every single one of them, from the very beginning. Coming into this program made me realize that the things I want are not lost, but simply enfolded. What I wanted from my college experience was enfolded into the BIS program all along. I just wasn't ready for it. It had to find me at the right time. Maybe I wasn't prepared for it earlier. Maybe it took me releasing all control, making time, and being grateful for everything to be ready and see what was truly unfolded, waiting to be discovered all along. This was always going to be my endpoint. It just had to come to me at the right time. In closing, I just want to thank God for this moment. Thank you to my parents, my family, and friends for keeping me uplifted along the way. And tears. So embarrassing. Thank you, Zach, for all your help, and thank you, Dr. Hutchison, for seeing something in me that I didn't see in myself, for giving me the opportunity to speak here today. I am truly humbled and grateful. What a journey it has been. I'm going to stop trying this here. 167,011,200 seconds, 2,738,520 minutes, 46,392 hours, 1,933 days, or simply put, 5 years, 3 months, and about 13 to 15 days, if you include weekends. That's how long it's been since my first day here at VCU on August 22nd, 2013. But those numbers don't mean a thing. Don't ever let time make you doubt the plans that you set for yourself. Things take time. Sometimes your plans will be revised, sometimes you have to make extra time, and sometimes you'll need to celebrate all those little wins. Do it. Remember that our time here is limited and relative. You are on no one's clock but your own. Go after those things you want, get that job, travel to that place, pursue your dreams, and if they seem far away, just remember that they will come to you in due time. Get ready. Time is what we make it, and it will always be there, but don't ever let it hold you back. Now is our moment. We did it. Congratulations.
Go, baby. Woo, woo.
Thank you, Jordan.
I love you, girl.